All right. Welcome, everybody. I have my client Carolyn with me here today to share her experience in the anti-arthritis method program. And her story is so inspiring and encouraging. And I think that so many of you can relate to, where she started and hopefully where she is where she is now. So thank you so much, Carolyn, for coming and doing this interview with me here today. I know that what you are going to share is going to be so helpful and so relatable to people in this community. So thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks, Jessica.
So, Carolyn, I always ask at the beginning of these interviews, what kind of challenges were you experiencing with your arthritis before joining the anti-arthritis method program? So if you could share, what kind of arthritis you were dealing with and how was that affecting your life?
Yeah, no, and I think like it was very frustrating because again, like limited mobility as far as my ankles go. I've had some knee surgeries done, or surgery done, I guess. Wasn't able to do the activities that I wanted to do. I'm an avid golfer, and the golfing last summer was challenging to say the least. I got through it, but it wasn't easy. Yeah, so sort of using over-the-counter meds to get through things and to just kind of be able to function at some level, right? So
Yeah. And is it rheumatoid arthritis you're dealing with or
it hasn't really
osteo?
been, no, hasn't really been diagnosed per se. Again, going, through lots of specialists, and there's really hasn't been I guess, an accurate diagnosis,
Mhm.
other than inflammation is how we're working with it right now. So,
Yeah, and I hear that a lot. Because sometimes it can take years to get a diagnosis, and I think at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because
Mhm.
overall it is, chronic systemic inflammation that we really need to get a hold on so that we can reduce that pain. So, um, yeah, there's so many variations of autoimmune forms of arthritis, osteoarthritis, and the inflammatory condition. So, yeah, it's just interesting that you shared that. So, thank you. Now, at the time, you said that you were taking some over the counter medications to try to manage your symptoms and your pain. Any other practitioners or other, strategies or techniques you were using to try to manage your joint pain?
Yeah, I guess the normal, resting, ice, some of that kind of stuff. Went through a number of specialists because, you start with your family doctor and they move you on, and, through lots of different specialists through different times, which adds to the frustration, I think, and you're still not really getting answers, and it's um yeah, x-rays and MRIs and this and what's going on and what's wrong, and yeah, and in the end you're still dealing with the issue, but um yeah, nothing's really been confirmed, and you're not really getting answers other than different types of medications, and try this and try that, and that comes with its own, I found, very stressful and frustrating to go through. It's, some of these different medications, and see if they work for you, see if they don't, and every time you try something different, it brought on its own elements of stress and frustration. So.
Yeah, just that kind of stuckness, like
Mhm.
trying and not getting anywhere. Yeah, I hear ya.
Yeah, and I think, like I guess, growing up, we've always been told to, the doctor's always right, and you do this, and whatever they recommend you do, and I think through this process is it's I've kind of learned to ask more questions and to listen to my body a little bit more about, why would we be doing this, and what am I going to gain out of it, and just being a little bit more aware of some of these, medications and that are being recommended, right?
Absolutely. And did you have any negative reactions to medications or did you find some of them helpful?
Somewhat for a time. Yeah, and then, for some reason it would stop working, and then, there'd be a switch to something different, and that kind of thing, right? So,
Yeah.
so I think, like I say, there was always, and I think it was just that feeling of no control. Like, it's like, okay, I felt like I was a peon in the system and I had to do what they were telling me to do because I had no other choice. And yeah, I was feeling very much not within my control to make decisions or to look after my health in its own way. And I think one of the first conversations we had, that's what I said to you. Like, I'm feeling like I need to take my control back. And you were able to do that for me, right? So, and it took a while,
Mhm.
but and so through some frustration, but yeah, I think that's where I was when I, watched a lot of your reviews from other people and it seemed to be working for them. And I thought, well, why not me? Why wouldn't it work for me? Give it a shot. But I sat on the fence for a long time before I was ready to jump in, and because I didn't want to go through another frustration, feel like a failure again, saying, oh, I tried this, but it didn't work, and now I'm back to no control, that kind of thing. That's what I was leery of.
Yeah. So just those were your hesitations, just feeling like, what if this doesn't work? And then I'm going to feel like I failed and that
Again,
I don't
yes.
have control, and just feeling that frustration over and over again.
Absolutely, yes. That
Yeah.
was my hesitancy of, like I say, and I did a lot like everybody else, you do all the research and all these things. I never really tried other programs before I tried yours. I was just kind of, and I'm not sure how I somehow yours popped up somewhere, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna, listen to some of these reviews, and I talked to a few of your people a couple of times, talked to you a couple of times. So there was a lot of sort of background stuff that went on for me before I was able to move ahead and commit to your program.
Absolutely. And you're not alone there. And I think that it's very natural to feel hesitant, because I think that we've been told for so long that really there's nothing else that you can do except follow what your doctors are telling you to do. Maybe try like an anti-inflammatory diet or a Mediterranean diet that seems to be really popular. Or like, and just those phrases, or the plant-based diet. We hear that a lot, but there's really not a whole lot of other support or guidance given around that. So it's also, I think it's a big commitment to decide, okay, well, I'm going to invest my time and energy into this program and into myself, and take the time to really focus on doing this for myself, especially if you're not 100% sure that it's going to work, so that makes absolute sense. And
Exactly. Yeah.
so when someone tells me that they need to think about it, or they're not quite sure, I totally understand that, because I would feel the exact same way. I remember when I started using my own protocol, I thought, oh my goodness, like this has its challenges, and is this going to be worth it in the end?
Mhm.
So I really understand where you're coming from there.
Yeah, and it was like when you're reviewing, like I was worried about failing, like I say, I'm gonna fail this, and then where am I, right? That kind of thing, right? So because I
Mhm.
didn't know if I could do it, to be honest,
Yeah, and you did. You
I
absolutely.
did. Yes, I did. It didn't come easy for me, but I got through it. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Most of us need support to make any kind of like major like diet or lifestyle changes. I always say it's a really unusual unicorn who can just do it on their own without any help or support or guidance along the way, and
Mhm.
accountability. So that's why we have the program the way it is so that we can really help keep you on track, or get you back on track when things are challenging, because life's going to happen, and it's not always going to be easy. It's a really simple process, but it's not always easy to
Right.
integrate it into your life. And that's what we
Yeah.
really want to make sure that we're there to help you guys with, is to make it as easy as possible. But I'm curious, Carolyn, what did you first notice about the program that did help you? I know, and you maybe even share a little bit, because I know that it didn't happen immediately, which I think fueled some of your doubt. So maybe tell us a little bit about that, and then when you started noticing changes.
Well, and I think, like I say, in my hesitancy initially, it was around, events going on, vacations and all these things that were happening. And I was like, okay, I have to be ready to do this. I have to be able to commit to it when I do it. So I kind of had myself prepped like for, starting in January, and everything, the events are done, and vacations are done, and just being focused then. And that worked for me, to have a start time, that I could focus on the protocol, and move ahead in sort of a positive direction, and not feel like I was missing out so much, right? Yeah, I started beginning of January. And I mean, I think the first few weeks were really, yeah, they were challenging to just kind of, when I think, things that I enjoy doing, and a lot of events and everything else are around eating, again, how do you make those lifestyle changes and still be social and do things, and all that kind of thing. And I think the first thing would have been about 3 weeks in that I started seeing, just that little bit of energy, increase in energy, and feeling, and it's hard to kind of pinpoint what it really was, but you just felt better. Your body felt more energized. Your body felt like it was functioning at a better level. You didn't feel as sluggish, just felt, I still, at that point, it still wasn't working for me as far as the joint pain and some of that kind of stuff. But the energy level and I guess the overall feeling was better. So I think that's what kind of encouraged me. Plus with, joining the Facebook groups, and support with Jessica, moving along, and it's like, okay, you got to stick with it. You're this far in, you got to keep on going. Right. And it wasn't until, probably it was about 10 weeks in that I started seeing some of the real results coming through then.
Mhm. And what were some of those results about 10 weeks in for you?
Yeah, and it was, like I say, I'd probably be the first one to say, well, yeah, that, you don't believe it until it happens to you, kind of, and then you see that, and it's like, like I still have some swelling and some inflammation and stuff like that, but yeah, just able to like go back to golfing, and I did 18 holes of golfing. I'm back at my swimming. Before I was lucky if I could walk to the pool to get into the pool. Now I'm like, okay, let's go swim. And I'm back into that routine. Some short walks. If I overdo it, I can still feel, because I do have some other, sort of medical challenges as well going on with my joints. So I still do feel, but I definitely can get out and resume most of my activities that I did before this all kind of started. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this summer is going to be great with all the
It's going to be
golfing.
amazing. Yes. I'm definitely excited for summer. And yeah, just and they weren't big things, but when you're hurt to walk, it's hard to do a lot of things, right? You don't realize that until you don't have full use, that how limiting these things can be, right? So and yeah, I can't remember the last time I took over the counter painkiller. Whereas before it was, I always had some in my pocket just in case, right? You're gonna need it because you needed to get through the days, right? So that has been, I think, a huge accomplishment is getting rid of a lot of the over-counter medications that I was feeling like I knew I was using it too much, but again, you need to get through the days, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And so when you look back to where you were a few short months ago and now, so now you're back to golfing, you're back to swimming, walking is much easier. Anything else you've noticed that's changed in your life in terms of your quality of life?
Yeah, and it was funny because I guess I didn't notice it as much, but I was visiting my oldest son there a few weeks ago, and he says, "Mom, you just have more energy. Like you just." So yeah, I just more positive overall. Like I find I'm more engaged at work. Like before, I was questioning, like, oh, can I do this event? Can I stand on my feet all day? Can I, you know what I mean? And now it's like I'm excited to do the events. I'm excited to be more connected with friends and people than I was before, because I feel like I can do it now. Whereas before, I was like, okay, how can I get through this? It was, that piece is gone. So that's awesome to be able to feeling that you can function, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And my last question for you, Carolyn, and I think you touched on it a little bit, but what is some of the results or things that in the process of going through the anti-arthritis method program that you're most proud of?
I think just getting through it, to be honest. I know you were a real champion, and I know a few on a few of the calls, I was feeling pretty frustrated, and you know, like, because you see other people progressing, and I was feeling like, you know, through some of it, that okay, this isn't working for me. Have I done the right thing? Maybe I wasted my money with this. Maybe you know, this isn't going to work for me. And you and your the team kept saying, you know, trust the process, and giving me pointers and encouragement. And I think that really helped me to keep on going, because you know, at that point, it would have been easier not to and just say, okay, this isn't for me. I'm not, you know what I mean? I tried it, it didn't work, and just add it up to another chalk of things that didn't work for me. But again, that encouragement was there, and I, you know, seeing that it does work, and just persevering. So yeah, I think I'm just, you know, and I'm still following it for the most part. I mean, I've introduced some new things, but I'm so happy with where I'm at. I don't want to go backwards. So and you find you don't miss those things as much as you thought you might. Like you make some changes, and you know, I look forward to going to a restaurant now, and ordering what I can, and still be very content with it when I'm done, right? So
Yeah. So yeah, and it's amazing how our mindsets can really shift to accommodate this new way of living, essentially, because it is a type of a lifestyle change, but I think it makes it easier when you do have those results and you're able to do things and your quality of life has returned, and so you realize, oh yeah, it was worth it. And I think it is so important to be proud of ourselves for accomplishing that, going through that process and persevering. So because that takes a lot, and like, good on you for sticking with it and showing up for yourself, coming to the calls even on those days where you were thinking of giving up and you didn't.
and
And
yeah, no, I couldn't have done it on my own. I know that. I know I couldn't have just, you know, read a book or something like that, and made it work. I know that I needed that ongoing support, and you know, the knowing that, you know, you had questions, people could answer them for you. There was, you know, and again, just believing in the process and trusting it, and yeah, just kind of sticking with it, and like I say, knowing, hoping you would get there, and then in the end, when you did, yeah, that feeling is, yeah, there's no describing it, to be honest. You just feel like you've accomplished the world, right? So
yeah. Well, I absolutely love that. And thank you again, Carolyn, for coming today. I think if there was a mic, I would drop it right there on your last sentence. It's a perfect way to end the interview.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I know that this will be so helpful for other people who are, really discouraged right now with their health and who are struggling, and a lot of people who are on the fence and thinking about whether this program is right for them. I think this is going to be really helpful. So thanks again for sharing today.
thank
And
you.
thank
Yeah,
you everybody for watching and listening. And if you've got questions, please reach out to me. You can find me on Facebook Messenger. You can send me an email. I look forward to talking to you soon. And I'm excited for you in your summer, Carolyn. I know it's going to be a great one. So thanks
absolutely. Thanks,
again.
Jessica.
Stay in touch.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.